In this video, we will talk about slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have same slopes, so first slope m1 is equal to the second slope m2. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. In other words, if you have one slope and you need to calculate a perpendicular slope, you take -1 and divide it by the slope. So for example, let's calculate parallel and perpendicular slope to the line y equals to 1/2 x plus 3. So let's begin with the slope of this line, and the slope is always the coefficient of the x, and we have 1/2 of x, so the slope is 1/2. The next slope, let's do parallel slope, indicated by two parallel lines as a subscript, is the easiest one to calculate because it's the same slope as the slope of the line, so parallel slope is 1/2. The last one is perpendicular slope. You can calculate it by taking -1 and dividing it by the slope of the line. And the reason I'm writing division this way instead of a fraction, because the slope of a line is a fraction itself, and I'm trying to avoid complex fractions. So the perpendicular slope is equal to -1 divided by, and the slope of a line is 1/2, so we get perpendicular slope is equal to -1. We change division into multiplication and flip the second fraction, so 1/2 becomes 2 out of 1. This gives us perpendicular slope is equal to -1 times 2 gives us -2 out of 1 is -2. So perpendicular slope to this line is -2 and the parallel slope is 1/2. In this example, we're going to calculate parallel and perpendicular slope to the line y equals to 3x. So the given slope is 3, which means parallel slope is also 3. So this is our solution for parallel slope. Perpendicular slope is equal to -1 divided by slope of the line. So we get perpendicular slope is equal to -1 divided by 3. So -1 out of 3 is our solution for perpendicular slope. In this example, we are going to calculate parallel and perpendicular slope to the line y equals to -3 out of 7x minus 2. So the slope is -3 out of 7. This means that parallel slope is also -3 out of 7. This is our solution for parallel slope. Perpendicular slope is equal to -1 divided by slope of the line given. So we get perpendicular slope is equal to -1 divided by, and the slope of a line is -3 out of 7, and we get slope of perpendicular line is equal to negative divided by a negative. This whole thing becomes a positive 1 divided by 3 out of 7. And we get slope of a perpendicular line is equal to 1. Let's change division into multiplication and flip the second fraction. So we get 7 out of 3. So we get slope of a perpendicular line is equal to 1 times 7 out of 3 is 7 out of 3. So 7 out of 3 is our solution. In this example, we are going to calculate parallel and perpendicular slope to the line y equals to 9. This is in the form of y equals to a number, which means this is a horizontal line. And for this example, we need to remember that slope of a horizontal line is equal to 0. Once you know the slope of this line, we also know the slope of a parallel line, which is also equal to 0. Slope of a parallel line to a horizontal line is 0. Slope of a perpendicular line equals to -1 out of slope of a line. So this gives us slope of a perpendicular line is equal to -1 out of 0. And we cannot divide by 0. So a perpendicular slope to a horizontal line is undefined. By the way, a perpendicular slope to a horizontal slope is vertical slope. So perpendicular slope to a horizontal line is undefined. That's all.